It's just another starter that is down for the count, and the Rays are going to have to make up for his loss in some shape or fashion. And again, I mean, this silver platter for Jake Mangum and Cameron Meisner to take advantage of this opportunity. This means for them more playing time. And
you are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Longo's game 162 just like us,
or you remember the early Double Ray days of Wade Boggs and Carl Crawford,
we are here to break down every play, every trade, every milestone. In fact, this is our 7th season covering the Rays daily.
And the 2025 season is underway, so go ahead, grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, and subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays.
I want to start with 2 things, Kev.
Okay.
Thing number 1. There's something about seeing a guy just sprinting to first on a ground ball that I'll forever not like. It's a thing. I see it and I'm like, gosh, I like it. I might have like a few boomer takes. That's a boomer take of mine. Love a guy that sprints to first. Judge me. I don't care.
Yeah. And you're referring to one Cameron Meisner, correct?
Well, he does it, but Jake Mangum as well.
Yeah. Those are 2 guys. Again, they are trying to fight and claw their way to being regulars on the 2025 roster. And with a slew of injuries, which we'll get to in a moment, this is their time to shine. This is their time to take advantage, like we've said. So you got to do all the big things right and the little things right. And the little things do matter at the end of the day, because that is something that you can always have with you is, hey, he's a selfless, effortful player. And it means something, I think, even in today's game where there is so much individualism and so much on your personal brand and so to speak. But it's nice to have some old school players that quote unquote bring their lunch pail to the ballpark.
And I get it. Look, it's a long season, so some guys are going to, sometimes take their moments to not do that. But like you're saying, these 2 guys especially, but Mangum, he just did it twice in a row on ground balls routine. And I was just like, I like that. Okay. So that's my first thing on the episode. Thing number 2, Zach Hample, you can shoot him to the sun for all I care.
Put him in one of Elon's rockets and let that baby go.
And just let him go. Just like Frozen him, okay?
I know who Zach Hample is. It's funny. I think a couple years ago we went to a Rays game at the Trop and saw him in the flesh. And what I recall about that moment was you would have thought he was a Hall of Fame baseball player with the amount of teenagers and adolescents who swarmed him like he swarms a baseball. So I guess he's doing something right as far as his visibility. But yes, he is a persona non grata in a lot of baseball circles because he's a little over the top, to put it nicely.
And after Tuesday night's game, where he basically gave the Angels 2 runs, getting that ball right above Morel's glove, it just I'm okay with putting him in one of those rocket ships.
Yeah, it's funny. We are he's our Steve Bartman now, I guess. That's what he's become. And the Rays need all the help they can get. We can't afford to have somebody leaning over and swiping one away from us because we are recording live as the Angels Rays game 1 of 3 is ongoing. And as we are recording into the later innings, the Rays still have yet to put a run on the board, a goose egg thus far, as Shane Boz is doing his job, but the Rays offense is not doing theirs, thanks in part to Zach Hample.
This scorebook should read Rays 0, Angels 0, Zach Hample, bleep, 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 you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Also unfortunate is the fact that the Rays have another injury to deal with, not of the pitching variety. First, it was the big one, Shane McClanahan, then Josh Lowe, and now Jonny DeLuca, that diving catch that he made on last Friday, against the Rangers seems to be the cause of a shoulder strain that he is dealing with. So he will be limited on throwing, and he's expected to be out roughly 2 to 4 weeks. Unfortunate, because DeLuca was off to a really good start as the starting center fielder, not just defensively, but offensively as well.
Yeah, he was. The numbers are definitely there for Johnny. However, I will say, just to play devil's advocate, if you've seen Johnny's hits, especially the ones in the first 3 games, BABIP God. It was basically watching Deoner Navarro's 2008 All-Star season. It was like, if it's in the air, it'll drop kind of thing.
Yeah,
but you
it's
know
not
what?
like max
Who
exit
cares?
velocity off the wall, huge gappers or anything like that. He's finding holes.
Yes.
I'm sure a part of it is skill, but a part of it is luck as well. But nonetheless, he was still, feeling good about himself. The Rays were feeling good about him, and it's just another starter that is down for the count, and the Rays are going to have to make up for his loss in some shape or fashion. And again, I mean, this silver platter for Jake Mangum and Cameron Meisner to take advantage of this opportunity. This means for them more playing time and getting, I believe, both will get opportunities at center field. Depending on if a lefty's on the mound or a righty's on the mound. So these guys should get plenty of at-bats and plenty of reps during DeLuca's absence for the next 2 to 4 weeks.
And we had said before, like, they are probably going to get like a leash of like 4 weeks, right? Yes. That I think is now going to be extended with merit because they have done their job. They have exceeded expectations, both of them. So, hey, guess what? It's kind of, on a sour note that it comes with a teammate of theirs being injured, but hey, you'll take as many opportunities. This increases his playing time for Meisner. This increases his playing time for Meisner. So Tuesday, Meisner was in center field, and he made a pretty nifty catch there to end the second inning as well. So, hey, go out there, show what you can do. This silver platter right now. This you couldn't have asked for a bigger window for you to show what you got for both at the same time for Meisner and Mangum than this.
We have more to discuss. I've got a couple more thoughts on this injury and the impacts. But first, Ulises, I think we need to tell the audience something important.
Yes, we do. So let's do that. When it comes to fueling your body, quality matters. That's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. In fact, they have a line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine that are NSF certified. In fact, they've partnered with 2-time MVP Bryce Harper to do so. So, if you want to feel good, if you want that extra punch that'll help you get that health up to 100%, visit justingredients.us. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off. You heard me right. 20% off at justingredients.us using code LOCKEDONMLB. LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off. And for more wellness tips, follow at just.ingredients on Instagram.
A couple of things here. One, I had a little bit of epiphany. I know that we would joke and chide and complain about Kevin Kiermaier being so often injured, and it was a very real threat that we had to encounter and deal with. But it does make a little bit more sense now when you look at the big scope and big picture of it, because Kevin Kiermaier was out there giving 100% when he was on the field and making plays like this on a regular basis on the Tropicana Field artificial turf. So
Yeah.
it was only a matter of time that, yes, he will probably have to miss 60 or 70 games for various reasons and ailments. So that's something that I think maybe we don't give enough credit to or respect to, is the fact that because KK was so dominant and gave such drive to his craft in the outfield, that might have exacerbated some of the injuries that he dealt with over the years.
Fantastic point, Kevin. And that's the Indiana bump of Locked On Race right there. No, yeah, I don't think it gets mentioned enough. And we try to give KK his roses anytime that we can, because we're both on the same page that what he did for the Rays is still underrated. But when you say that, you know, the fact that he might have been able to be a little bit healthier if he was a little bit more careful, but that just wasn't in KK's DNA. That wasn't the outlaw, and he wouldn't have been that player if he would have, put the brakes on a little bit. So yeah, very good point, Kev.
Yeah. Another thing too that I found unique to some extent was, not that this was going to be the assumption, but hey, Josh Lowe already went down. Now Jonny DeLuca goes down. Richie Palacios is down. All right, maybe it is time to call up Eloy Jiménez and or Chandler Simpson. But that is not what the Rays decided to do. Instead, they called up little-known 40-man roster player, Coco Montes, a former USF player, actually, who bounced around in the minor leagues was a 15th-round draft pick and then played overseas for a period of time. They decided to call him up instead of Jimenez or Simpson, which is interesting from the standpoint that Eloy Jiménez is actually doing very well in AAA right now. Chandler Simpson is doing very well in AAA right now. Coco Montes is not doing very well, or was not doing very well in AAA. Small sample size, sure, but he had like a 115 batting average across 35 plate appearances. So my guesstimation is that it's all a case of 40-man maneuvering because they don't want to have to deal with the impacts of adding Eloy and or Chandler Simpson to the 40-man as of yet. And I guess start the arbitration clock on Simpson, and B, start the salary clock on Eloy Jiménez. I guess that's my only explanation for why they're doing what they're doing right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the first thing is this 40-man. The second one is always going to, I'm going to say it's the money. Yeah, you don't want to start Chandler Simpson's clock. And the other money is Eloy Jimenez's salary too, right? So all of that I agree with.
But who puts you in a better position to win right now? Chandler Simpson, Eloy Jiménez, or Coco Montes? We talk about the lack of power. Well, that wouldn't be solved by Chandler Simpson, but that could be solved by Eloy Jiménez getting 4 weeks worth of at-bats as a DH.
It could. However, I think, and this is the third thing that ties into the first segment, the Rays, I think, are going with the human side of things. And the human side is Cameron Meisner is doing very well. Mm-hmm. Jake Mangum is doing very well. They have earned more plate appearances. To get a guy like Eloy or to get a guy like Chandler Simpson, I think would disrupt what's going in the clubhouse, how those two guys in particular are feeling.
Yeah.
And you don't want to mess that. And it's not like this team is like 10-0 and you don't want to miss anything in the clubhouse. They're 4-5 as we're currently recording. But I do think they're going with all the things that we have said, the 40-man and the money for both guys, Chandler and Eloy. I think the third factor here is the humanness of, hey, these two guys have earned it. And if we bring one guy new into the equation, we're going to play him.
Yeah.
And so that means that the other guys are going, the ones that earned it and have been here before are going to take a back seat. And that just doesn't, it wouldn't mesh too well, I think, with them
Right.
and what they're
And I guess they also want to, find as many, not to say it's a blessing in disguise, but this could create more opportunities for at-bats for Curtis Mead and Jonathan Aranda. Like, my thought is
right
Coco Montes is called up to
as a
basically
body.
just sit on the bench and not
As
play.
a body. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a body to allow these other guys to get more opportunities, which is, it is what it is.
And this happens, right? Like last year, I believe Cam Meisner in the beginning of the season, or Austin Shenton, or maybe even both, when they were called up, it was like, oh, I forgot that they were even on the team, because they never got opportunities whatsoever, both Meisner and Shenton. Yeah. So maybe that's, I feel like we're right on that. Coco, awesome that you get the call up. Congrats. Awesome you're a USF product. Awesome, you deserve it. Enjoy it. I don't foresee a lot of at-bats of Coco Montes coming up.
It'll be a quick stint and not many opportunities for him, just to pave the lane for the guys that are up and doing a very solid job as of right now. All right, we have a little bit more to discuss. There is some movement in the repairs of Tropicana Field. We'll get to that. But first, we have to tell the audience something very important, and that is FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Here's what you need to love about FanDuel. They make betting so easy, whether it's picking your favorite team or diving into player props, from three-pointers to steals to assists. FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. So don't miss out. Head on over to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. So good, I'll repeat it again. FanDuel.com to claim your $250 in bonus bets today. All right, Ulises, we have some movement in the Tropicana Field repairs. The St. Petersburg City Council has voted to cough up the money to make those enhancements and adjustments to the stadium roof, roughly $23 million. I guess about a third or a little, or whatever the math is. Let's just say that there's a lot more to be repaired than just the roof. So this is a portion, a chunk of the ultimate final cost to get the Trop into game ready shape again, which is estimated of like $56 million. But I know there was some back and forth between the city and the Rays, the Rays and the city, but ultimately it had to be done because, well, St. Petersburg was legally obligated, unless they wanted to get really creative and cheeky and say, hey, we're just going to try to buy out the agreement with the Rays and essentially make the Rays homeless for the next 3 or 4 years. But alas, that will not happen, as the city council voted 7-1 to replace the Trop roof. Richie Floyd was the lone no vote.
Yeah. So 22.5, it will be for the new Teflon coated fiberglass roof, which is made of the same material as the original, but they're changing the color apparently because I think for supply issues slash probably financial motives. So that's just a bit less than half of what the whole project is. Like you mentioned, $56 million. So yeah, that's a big chunk for the repairs that goes to the roof. It had to be done. I think that's actually almost a quote verbatim by a city council member that, like, hey, we understand, but we were legally obligated to do this.
Yeah.
So
as much as we don't like the Rays right now, and as much as we don't like Stu Sternberg, it's in writing.
It's in writing.
On
you
the
have
docket.
to do it.
We have attorneys involved. We have to do something here.
So now the next thing is, they are saying that they will be ready for the 2026 season. So obviously
opening day 2026. That's the idea.
The idea is that it'll be done by December, and then the rest of the repairs can be done through January and February. It
seems lofty to me.
I'll believe it when I see it. But these people have metrics and all that. Now I will say, Tampa Bay Times had a very interesting part that I want to read verbatim. Okay. Obviously, this is from not only Jack Prater, but a friend of the pod, Colleen Wright. The article says, the firm will partner with St. Petersburg construction company Hennessy Construction Services to construct a new roof made from white fabric. Major League Baseball preferred a white roof, which is less expensive than a beige roof and will take less time to install. Awesome. The new roof will be designed to current building codes and could withstand 165 mile per hour winds. Basically, it ain't happening again. That's what they want. Last but not least, the material is made in Germany and will be assembled in China, then flown to St. Petersburg in 4 different shipments. Earlier this week, President Trump announced a 10% tariff on all countries, including 34% on China and 20% on the European Union. The agreement includes a $100,000 contingency to cover proposed tariffs, though some council members doubted that was enough. Kevin, we're not going to get political here, but if you just do a little bit of napkin math here, it's going to get expensive, man. And I am sure that we're going to be hearing about, hey, the price went up. Hey, the price went up.
It's bad timing. It's bad timing for sure. And this is just the roof that we're talking about, because I'm sure there's other infrastructure related issues that have to be resolved in the facility that many of those parts are made or compiled outside of the U.S.
Drywall and major panels have to be replaced. Electronics and stadium sound system. The field has to be completely redone. If you guys haven't seen those pictures, oh my gosh. In fact, they have garbage cans and buckets spaced out in the corridors to collect dripping rain right now.
Oh, it's like my gym that I pay $12 a month at. It's right by the bench press. I occasionally get a drip on my leg every now and again.
Nice.
Hey, that's okay. Play in a major league stadium. Just put a couple of garbage cans out there. The Astros can use it on occasion. And
there you go.
I am curious about a couple of things, and then we'll wrap up here. The roof and the different color, it being white instead of beige. That's the understanding.
Yeah.
I wonder if that'll make it easier, more difficult, or the same as far as players being able to track fly balls.
I'm going to say easier.
Okay.
Because the whole thing was that, you rub the baseballs up with mud and all that, and then you kind of get them on that beige roof, and it kind of blends in. I would think that now with the pearly background, that mudded up baseball might be a little bit easier to get a read on it.
Go with a black roof or something like that? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, well, if you were to go with a black roof, Christopher Morel would still lose it because he just did on Tuesday evening, and that happened.
Not good. But again, I mean, the Rays, they play there so often that it has become an advantage for them being able to track fly balls versus some other teams, particularly National League teams that don't visit the facility that often and don't they just aren't used to that look. So the other thing too is there's a lot to be done. There's a lot to be ordered. There's a lot to be put together. There's a lot to be fixed. Opening day 2026. Yes or no? The stadium will be game ready.
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say no. Where do the Rays play?
Steinbrenner.
For say the first couple of weeks. Okay, they would play at Steinbrenner. They would keep they would the Yankees would be friendly neighbors in the AL East and say, hey, we understand what's going on, which in that case, not to go down a whole rabbit hole, but the Rays have to retrofit or get the signage and the graphics back to its original state. So
Wait,
what
Kevin,
then?
how do you know that? How do you know that, Kev?
Because we had a gentleman named Warren Hypes on the program, who is the vice president, creative and brand for the Tampa Bay Rays, and we highly recommend you listen to part 1 and part 2 of that interview. So, I mean, my thought is if they have to get everything back to looking like the Yankees spring training again for those first couple weeks, maybe they just say, all right, it is what it is. We'll just leave it. It's fine. I mean, what can we do? Or if they have
remodel back, remodel back.
It just would not be worth it.
You know, if you're an
or maybe they just play in Port Charlotte for all I know. I don't.
Maybe if you're an The Office fan, you might remember the Michael Scott a little bit. That goes snip, snap, snip, snap. That's kind of what I had in mind.
Exactly. But hey, I mean, for Rays fans that live in St. Petersburg area, Pinellas County, I mean, you should be crying for joy right now because you'll have your team back in a year.
I mean, maybe what they do, honestly, they just save some of this stuff. And they go like, hey, if just as a safety plan B, hey, if that's not done, we got all the signage or at least most of it, and we can just go at it again. Maybe if it's reusable.
By opening day 2026, is Stu Sternberg still the Rays principal owner?
That's a whole episode, baby.
Okay, fair enough. All right, on that note, we hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you later.